UNCG Health Coaching Framework is just that. It's a framework, it's a guide. It's not necessarily a map that tells you you must do all these things to get there. Let's use that map analogy. So think about when you're trying to get to a different city. Some people may tell you to take the highway, others may say take this back road, and then when there's traffic, you find a whole nother route. But the whole point is you still get to your destination. So with health coaching, no one person, no one client is the same. So health coaching cannot be scripted. Not one approach will work for every single client. However, there is a coaching methodology. This methodology is based on evidence-based practice, evidence-based science that tells us what improves the likelihood that a client may engage in a behavior change, may stop a behavior and begin a new behavior, may increase their behavior or change something completely so that they're now adopting a whole new lifestyle. So this framework is really just here to help you guide your encounters, primarily your initial encounters with your clients, so that you can then start to work on what works for them. So how do you know what works for them? Generally, it means that you have to explore with your client. It means that you have to find out what works in the sense of, hey, this is a vision I have for my life, and this is where I'm hoping to go. This is what I have currently. This is the here and now, and these are the things I'm going to need to get to what I want, that optimal lifestyle that I really desire. So when I think of the behavior changes I make, I may have one style or approach that works for my healthy eating or movement. Whereas if I'm working on stress management, that may have a different style or approach. So this framework here is to help you think through how you can work with your clients to improve their success. There are a few things we know that work. If a client starts to plan and talk out loud about something they want to change, it increases the likelihood that they may have more motivation on it or increase their intent to change. It increases their readiness. They start to discover what's important. Let's say that a client decides that they're going to begin to look at the barriers that are getting in the way of them changing. That is also going to increase their likelihood of them thinking about success and starting to plan. So all of these things are based on evidence-based practice for behavior change. And what we've done is group them so that you can have an easy way to guide yourself through these encounters. So you can see that it's going to change for your first session in relation to your subsequent sessions. In your first session, you're going to do more of an orientation account to coaching. You're also going to explore a little bit more about, hey, what brought you here? In your subsequent sessions, you're going to do the same, but you're going to go deeper in different avenues and different areas. You're going to set agreements. You're going to monitor progress. So why this coaching framework? Dr. Michael Orlowski helped us quite a bit at UNCG in developing our coaching methodology. Let's hear from him as to why this framework works and what type of methodologies you can bring to your practice.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Orlowski, and I'm CEO and founder of Real Balance Global Wellness Services and the Wellness Coach Training Institute. I'm a psychologist and a certified wellness practitioner and a professional certified coach. And what I'd like to talk with you about today is wellness coaching, what it really means, and our own particular way of helping people have a real methodology to work with when they do wellness and health coaching with their clients. Wellness and health coaching has grown tremendously. Our company and the Real Balance Company and the Wellness Coach Training Institute has trained thousands of health and wellness coaches all over the world. And what we found is that what people really need is a way of working with people that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. That has a way to work with people that's flexible, that's adapted to the client, that's not preordained but rather is very client-centered, and yet can also have enough direction and enough structure to give the clients the kind of process and structure that they need to really succeed. It's really kind of a 5-part process, and it starts out with what we call assessment and exploration. This is the classic thing in wellness we talk about all the time, taking stock of your wellness, getting a really clear picture of where you're at. We call it Wellness Mapping 360 because we're talking about 360 degrees, looking at your entire life. And we're talking about a mapping process because people need to get where they want to go. And following a plan is the best way to get there. So we start out with this exploration process. Rather than saying, what's wrong and how can we fix it? We're going to say, what's possible? What do we need to look at here? And we're going to help that person get a real clear picture of what their life is like. What's their health status? When's the last time they had a physical exam and had blood work done? All of those kinds of things. What are the types of measures that are going to be important for them to understand? For one person, it might be a measure of their stress in their life. For another person, it might be looking at weight, it might be looking at cholesterol levels, it might be looking at percent body fat or something like that. But it's also taking stock of your sources of support. How isolated or how connected are you? It's looking at your whole life. One of the things about wellness that people really need to understand is it's not just diet and exercise. It's also your connection to the world around you. It's the people that support you in your life. It's your own sense of personal meaning or purpose or spirituality. It's all of these things. So we often use simple tools to help people figure that out, or maybe a more complex tool like a health risk assessment if that's something available. One way or another, we help the person get a really clear picture of what their life is like, a real clear image of where you're at right now. Then we help them with a process of imagining where they'd like to be, creating what I like to call a well-life vision. And that well-life vision really helps a person see where they want to be. Then it's a process of, okay, here's where you are, here's where you want to be. What's got to change for you to get there? That becomes the areas we want to focus on with the goals underneath those and the action steps underneath those that create the wellness map or plan. And co-creating that map or plan is the second step in this 5-stage process. Co-creating it's really important here. Now, some kind of wellness program that already tells people how to exercise and what to eat, that's wellness, but it's not wellness coaching. Wellness coaching is very client-centered. We're going to have the client determining what are going to be the components of this wellness plan. But we're not going to leave them alone to do it. We're going to co-create it. We're going to show them how it can work and help them establish a plan. The old axiom that, failing to plan is playing to fail is so true. So many times people launch their wellness journey thinking, okay, I've got a lot of willpower and I'm going to try it, I'm going to go for it. But without a real plan, they don't get very far. So we've got a plan together now, and the other piece of this that isn't really one of the stages but is critical is we've already established an alliance. We're working together not as expert and learner, but as allies. I'm going to work with my client in a way where we're there side by side, shoulder to shoulder, climbing the mountain together. Now, once we've got this plan set up, it's about the accountability and support to get it done. We're going to help that client by providing support through our relationship, like I was saying, that ongoing relationship. Coaching is not just one-time consultation. It's working in an ongoing relationship. And once we've got that plan in place together, that support is going to come from the coach, but we're also going to help them consciously find out how can they increase support in the rest of their lives. Who and what else can give them support in their lives. Make it a conscious process. I've really come to learn that that's one of the most important things we can do with people. And then there's the accountability piece. That's really what put coaching on the map. People have all kind of ideas of things they'd like to do, but do they follow through and get them done? Do you find that round to it, that you finally, get around to it and get it done? Well, in coaching, we help that person create agreements with themselves, really, to hold themselves accountable to themselves. And we assist them in that process. They're not accountable to us. I'm not like a supervisor or a boss or a drill sergeant or anybody else in that person's life. I'm their ally. Now, maybe what helps them be accountable is they're going to talk about it at their next coaching session. Maybe they're going to send me a text message or an email that tells me and tells them, okay, the agreement that we had that I would, keep track of my calories or keep track of my exercise times this week. Maybe they send that to me. There's various ways that we can create accountability, but having it really ensures that people get things done. As we're doing that, we're setting up different action steps, and we're basing the decision of what to make action steps around the whole readiness for change theory. That's a really critical piece of this. Not all coaching acknowledges that, but I think it's really critical that we do. What's the person ready to change? Are they only ready to continue to process and think about it? Are they ready to prepare, find out more information about it? Or are they in the action stage where they're ready to take the action? Then, very importantly, and this is a lot of what coaching is about, is the maintenance stage. How do we maintain the change that's already started? Now, the fourth stage that we talk about is what we call ongoing evaluation. And that means a couple of things. It means, number one, we're going to evaluate the coaching. Is it working? Is the way we're working together being effective, or does it need to be improved? The other part of that is, what are the measures that we're looking at for progress, the indicators of success that are part of our wellness plan? That is, are you accomplishing what you want to accomplish? Is it working for you? If not, maybe we need to change course. We need to adjust things. We need to, maybe even focus on different areas that start to emerge as even more important. One way or another, we're going to help that person to look at and evaluate their progress. The feedback they get is critical to their motivation. The other thing that comes up in this stage is the way that they're changing affects the world around them. And they're going to get support from other people and people cheering them on, and unfortunately, they're often going to get pushback and resistance. We all kind of have unwritten agreements about how we're going to work together, play together, be together. And when people change those, sometimes it doesn't go over so well. So, what kind of barriers come up? External barriers. Maybe the person who's trying to manage their workload at work runs into trouble with the team that they work with because they've always been the one that took the burden of doing all the menial tasks, and now they're setting limits. So now we have to adjust and communicate and help that person to work that out. Or maybe there's internal barriers that come up. People all the time have difficulty giving themselves permission to do self-care. They often think, well, I've got too many other things to do, too many obligations. It's really hard to do that sometimes. Or some other belief system that they've got that gets in the way. In coaching, we can help people process that. We're not going to get into the kind of psychotherapeutic work of healing old wounds. We're going to refer people for that. But we can help them process some of the thinking that gets in the way. Finally, we're going to get to that fifth stage. We've done the assessment and exploration, adequate exploration, not setting goals too quickly. We've done the whole process of creating a wellness map or plan for them to follow. We've co-created that with them. We've done work on accountability and support, and now we've been looking at the reaction of the world to that change, continuing to evaluate how it's going, finally leading to what we like to call clear measurable outcomes. This is based on the indicators of success that we'd set up earlier, and it allows the person to see when they're really succeeding. Did I get there? Did I accomplish what I wanted to accomplish? You know, somebody can say, I want to improve my sleep. Well, good, that's nice. What do you mean, improve your sleep? What would that look like? That's a question we love to say in coaching, love to ask. What would it look like? Well, it might look like if I got 6 hours of sleep or 7 hours of sleep 5 nights a week, that'd be a huge improvement. So let's set that as the indicator of success. That's what it would look like. So are we getting those results? Those clear measurable outcomes help the coach know that they're doing a good job. They help the client know that they've arrived. And if the coaching is part of a program that's being evaluated by the people that pay for that program, for example, they want to know the group data that says this coaching is effective. And one of the nice things about wellness coaching is we're often measuring really concrete stuff. We're taking a look at percent body fat. We're taking a look at blood pressure points. We're taking a look at A1C scores for a person with diabetes. We're looking at really measurable results, as well as client satisfaction, self-evaluation, and the more intuitive type of subjective evaluations that clients can give us. So that's the process, 360 degrees of beginning, a middle, and an end. Wellness coaching is something that I think when people have a methodology, the health educator, the nurse, the physical therapist, the people that have been working with people for years to help them change their lifestyle, finally have a methodology that can really help them succeed at helping people create lasting lifestyle improvement.